Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we're doing my New Orleans Pelicans off-season preview, primer, whatever the heck you want to call it. In 2 weeks, we'll do after the lottery what the predictions will be. So if you guys want to give me your thoughts, what do you think are some priorities that the Pelicans need to focus on this off-season after being swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder and having, gone through the play-in? I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let's get to it. Well, let me hear those priorities to help me form my predictions in the next few weeks. So this team was the 11th best offensive rating, 7th best defensive rating, 6th best net rating, 4th best three-point shooting team in the league. And a big part of this, obviously, I think we got to see Zion Williamson at his best. Zion Williamson played 70 games, yes. Zion Williamson was more healthy than Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. CJ and Brandon both also averaged 20 points. Then Trey Murphy was about 15 points a game guy, 12 from Jonas Valanciunas. You also had Herb Jones giving you 11, showing that he can, take more of an offensive load. Jose Alvarado was awesome with 7, 8 from Jordan Hawkins. Dyson Daniels had 6, 7 from Najee Marshall, then 6 from Larry Nance, then Matt Ryan, who was a nice stud. So this team went 49-33. They have the 17th overall pick in this year's draft and the 21st pick through Milwaukee, and the 17th is through LA. And for me, I think this is the way that I look at this draft wise, when I see who could potentially be people will first target the guys that they could draft, with Najee Marshall, Jonas Valanciunas, Cody Zeller all being unrestricted free agents. Then Jose Alvarado has a team option. Jeremiah Robinson Earl and Deron Sebron have Jeremiah Robinson Earl is a team option. Deron Sebron is a restricted free agent. So going to look who could be available at I think this is a team that either needs to get, I think they're set at the guard position with McCollum, Jose Alvarado, and Dyson Daniels. You might think, I think they're going to draft a wing and a big. I could see if Kyle Filipowski or Donovan Clingan or Zach Edey or Khalil Ware. Khalil Ware could be a guy who could be like the Derek Lively of this year's draft. So I think that's someone they're going to prioritize getting a big man in the draft, and then maybe a wing player like either a Kevin McCullough, or maybe they go for like a Tyler Smith or a Dalton Connect or Tejan Saloon, because I think they realize that either Najee Marshall might leave, and Herb Jones I think is going to stick around, but if they want to make a big trade, he could be someone, I think they need another wing guy, and they realize that. So let's move on. I want to hear, who do you think they should target? I think a wing and a big man is what they need to do. But what the roster moving forward is, they had 49 wins, second most in franchise history. Obviously, the career high 70 games played by Zion Williamson. Obviously, this first round sweep at the hands of the Oklahoma City Thunder without Williamson isn't great, but I think at this point you realize that I think CJ McCollum or Brandon Ingram have never appeared in a playoff game with Zion Williamson. The three have never, ever been together. I think you have to decide that. I think you keep Zion. I think Zion proved he's a really good player, but I think you need to decide between Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. I think CJ is getting older, and this is the last year that you could actually get some decent value. The Pelicans have a minus 3.2 net rating when the trio share the floor this season, 737 minutes. The New Orleans offensive efficiency was 111.2, and marked lower than the 24th place Raptors. And the Pelicans also were 14-15 clutch, ranked bottom 7 in offense and net efficiency in clutch time with that lineup. And the roster intact is set to become costly. Williamson has a 4-year, $163 million left on his deal, and the last 3 seasons are non-guaranteed, but the reward on the court so far, if he stays healthy, outweighs the risk, as he's been absolutely a dynamic player when healthy. Now, Ingram is entering the last year of his contract. He's a guy who's going to be eligible for a 4-year, $208 million max, and McCollum's owed $64 million over the next 2 seasons. New Orleans must address the pending free agency of Jonas Valanciunas. I think they want to move on from him, as I think they want to get more. I think they want bigs like Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, and that's why I think Khalil Ware, and then maybe you go out and get, Wendell Carter would be the best big for them if they somehow could get that. But now they have to start thinking about a possible rookie extension for Trey Murphy, an extension for Jose Alvarado, and it's definitely getting interesting. They have a lottery pick this year, and they'll likely have 2 first-round picks in 2025, assuming they defer the Lakers pick. And like I said, they could have 2 picks this year, but they're probably going to defer the Lakers to the Lakers pick, so they're really going to only have 1 pick. So then they're going to have to decide if they do keep, but if they only keep 1 pick, which will they do? Get a big man like Khalil Ware or Zach Edey, or go after a wing player like one of the guys I mentioned earlier. New Orleans also has an unprotected first from the Bucks in 2027. Now, New Orleans was able to dodge the luxury tax this season, and obviously to avoid paying it for the first time in franchise history, the Pelicans will need to trim payroll or not bring back Valanciunas and Marshall. Including 2 first-round picks, New Orleans has $161.5 million in salary on the books for next season, $9.8 million below the tax line. New Orleans has until June 29th to exercise the $2 million team options of Alvarado and Robinson Earl. The free agency of Marshall and Valanciunas will dictate whether New Orleans has a $12.9 million taxpayer exception. Obviously, the $5.1 million taxpayer mid-level may be available if they're will be available for their tax team. They also have a 5.7 trade exception, and for me, I think this was a huge part of when you look over at, a team like the Pelicans. They're really trying to, make sure that they have money and make sure they're not hedging their future. But Ingram's future and filling the void at center is obviously the thing that needs to happen. I think signing Ingram to the 4-year, $208 million contract's needed. He averaged at least 20 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists over the past 4 seasons. Shot a career best 53% on 2-pointers, ranked 5th in mid-range field goals per game. And the $50 million average salary on the extension comes with obviously a huge risk. He's missed 154 games since 2016 to 2017 and has just played 54, 45, and 64 games in the past 3 seasons. He also shot 4 of 12 in 25 minutes and was benched for the last 7.5 minutes in the play and lost to the Lakers, which was the second time Ingram played since injuring his left knee on March 21st. I personally think, look, you got to re-sign him because letting him leave uncompensated is worse, and also extending him and then trading him is better than just not extending him and trading him because he has an expiring contract. Now, look, he averaged 16.5 points, shot 41.4% in the field in the first round. The Pelicans also have to ask whether the combined salaries of $115 million between Ingram, Williamson, and McCollum is smart business in 2025. Is this the last year of this, or should they start trying to make moves of CJ McCollum and maybe call up, try to get a Robert Williams, flip CJ McCollum for, you can't get Robert Williams, god dang it, but you get what I'm saying. Send assets of CJ McCollum to somewhere else, be able to go call up the Blazers and get a guy like, if they could bring in, I think the thing is if you could flip Brandon Ingram for Jeremy Grant and then turn CJ McCollum into like Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon, do you do it? Do you think the team's significantly better? Or do you think the team's the same? I feel like that's a cheaper payroll and the team's the same. Now, the New Orleans are top-heavy in salary, especially if they extend Murphy in the offseason. The bigger risk, however, is the distraction of Ingram coming back on an expiring contract if his extension talks stall. The Pelicans are in a position to either pay Ingram or start to look for trade suitors. The trade could have a domino effect on the roster, as there's a void at the center. Valanciunas has started 235 games since 2021, and including all 82 this game. He's averaged the fewest rebounds since 2018 with only 8.7, played only 5.9 minutes per game in the fourth. New Orleans ranked 23rd in field goal percentage around the rim per second spectrum. And also the options with Valanciunas, including Larry Nance, without Valanciunas, means you have a backup 7 in Larry Nance, and you go out there, there's Nick Claxton, Isaiah Hartenstein. We know they want Nick Claxton. Those are guys that could go after, behind those guys, there's a considerable drop off. So the options without Valanciunas are Larry Nance. They have a first-round pick that they can get Khalil Ware. I think personally, get Khalil Ware or like Zach Edey. You have Larry Nance. You go sign a guy like Goga Bitadze or Mason Plumlee. It's cool. Or you try to get Isaiah Hartenstein or Nick Claxton. Now, as we've talked about this video, they extended Williamson, and they prioritized retaining their own draft picks. They extended Herb Jones last July. Murphy's now eligible to sign his rookie extension this offseason. He averaged a career high almost 15 points and shot 38% on 3-pointers for the 3rd consecutive season. He's one of 2 players in Pelicans history to make 150 plus 3-pointers in multiple seasons. CJ McCollum's the only other person. The Pelicans have a plus 7.7 net rating with Murphy on the floor, and the extensions for Brandon Ingram and Trey Murphy really is going to something that they have to decide, because they're going to be at the luxury tax threshold in 2025-26. And Jose Alvarado outplayed the 4-year, $6.9 million contract he signed in 2022. With the play-in loss, against the Lakers, Alvarado had a net rating of plus 17.5 points per 100 possessions. He finished the regular season plus 11.9, and Alvarado becomes eligible for an extension on March 28th. He has a $2 million team option, so he could be someone that they think. Marshall's another guy who's an expiring, but they could extend him before he hits free agency through June 30th. Same thing with Jonas Valanciunas. As of October 1st, Larry Nance becomes extension eligible, which I do expect them to extend, and McCollum becomes extension eligible as of September 26th. Now, as we've said all through the video, starting center who can close games, is a rim runner, rim protector, is huge. You could say facilitating point guard, but I have belief that Dyson Daniels could maybe become that guy. You give it another season, him going to year 3. Valanciunas didn't play much in the fourth. They need to find a center who can play in the fourth. He had the worst effective field goal percentage among all centers and shots attempts between 1 to 5 feet from the rim per Second Spectrum Sports. Now, when we look at the future draft assets for the Pelicans, they have up to 6 tradable picks over the next 7 years. Besides their own first, the Pelicans have either a 2024 or a 2025 unprotected first from the Lakers. They're deferring it, we're hearing, and we'll find out for June 1st. Pelicans have the right to swap the picks with Milwaukee in 26 or 27, as they also have the unprotected 27. Now, Bucks also send New Orleans their 25 first, but it has to fall outside the top 4, or only if it falls in the top 4. My apology. And they have 2 second-round picks available for them. But, yep, that's it, guys. I want to hear your thoughts down below. What do you guys expect? There's still, EJ Liddell is coming back, and I mean, this team's exciting, but yeah, there's things that they are trying to figure out, and I'm curious. What do you guys expect this season to play out? But that's going to be my thoughts from me today, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll have more videos coming out tomorrow. Bye.